Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris and I help people find their center. In this video, I'm going to talk about ego death, the truth about ego death that no one talks about, the truth of ego death that no one tells you. First off, what is an ego death? It's defined as a psychic death. It's coined by I believe Carl Jung, and I've studied psychology and spirituality for the last few years. And the term ego death is something that is kind of thrown around. What it means is that this personal avatar that we've created, this 3D character, similar to in a video game, has certain traits. It has aspects to its personality. It has a gender. It has a family. It has certain roles in society, and it plays a part. It plays a part not only in your own life, but in others' lives as well. And ego is the physical part of you, the thoughts, the physical avatar that you've created to function here in this 3D matrix. And you may hear people talking about ego versus spirit, how spirit is light, ego is dark, how it's about finding a balance between the two. Ego stands for edging God out, and we are not just the sum of our thoughts. We are not just, our own thoughts. We've been projected upon since we were not even in utero, basically. We've been projected on from society, from our parents, and our ego is a culmination of the past beliefs of others, the past beliefs of those that came before us. It's the past in the present that's been projected onto by those who care about us, family members, friends, peers, religious instructors, teachers, coaches, and it is an accumulation. So we collectively have an ego as well. We have a collective conscious ego, which is the shadow aspect of the spirit. So an ego death is painful. If there's a movie called Peaceful Warrior, you can check out, I believe it's on Amazon. It was also a book by Dan Millman, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And in that movie and the book, I've read and seen both, he goes through a super painful process which is part of his spiritual awakening journey. There's this one part in the movie where he's being chased and being hunted by this one person that keeps haunting him. And in the movie, he finally catches up to the guy and looks at the guy, and it's actually him. And one version of him actually spins him around and throws him to his death off a super high building, and he crashes. That is a really good portrayal of an ego death. And the truth about an ego death is that it's not all sunshine and roses. The spiritual awakening process and journey is not something that can accurately be portrayed in a video. It's not something that can be accurately portrayed in text. Movies can kind of get it, but unless you've actually gone through the process of an ego death, it is not all sunshine and rainbows. It is the most, I would say, difficult thing next to the dark night of the soul, which I believe that I'll do that in another video. The dark night of the soul is part of the ego death process and the spiritual awakening process. And in order for us to physically incarnate on this planet, we've chosen to come here to transmute some of the shadow aspects, some of the darkness that's been prevailing on Earth for such a long time. Anyway, the ego death is probably the most painful thing of your life. It can make you full of anxiety. It can make you full of depression. It could make you have some suicidal thoughts. You could be questioning everything about your life. It's really hard to describe in words, but I'm trying to do it justice here. So and You'll see it on a lot of social media boards, people going through a really hard time. One of the people in some of my videos, somebody comments about an ego death and about how, there's like a flock of people to try to like explain it or try to like pacify it with empty, hollow words. And I agree with that to some extent about how, it's nice to have support online. It's nice to have people wishing you well and sending you positive things. However, when you're in the middle of an ego death, when your life is crashing around you, when you're going through the process of transformation, it is not always easy. It is downright painful. It means you're letting go of people, you're letting go of aspects of yourself, your literal self, this avatar, this thought body that you created, and you get some backlash for that. And you may feel like you're alone. You may feel like, why is this happening to me? It's to propel you to the next level in your spiritual awakening journey, because the spiritual awakening process doesn't end. It's like a spiral. I've heard Tony Robbins and Aaron Doughty talk about spiral dynamics, which is for another video. But in the spiral dynamics, there's different layers. And I believe that there's a yin and a yang, or positive and negative aspect to each of the levels in the spiral dynamics. So similar to the spiritual awakening, ego death is a part of that. Basically, when Jesus died on the cross, he had an ego death. Did that look super fun? And did it look super like it was easy? No. I've had an ego death when I transitioned. When I transitioned and came out at 19, that was an ego death. And I've had many since then. And I can tell you, it's been the most transformative and painful experience of my life. I didn't think I would make it out of that sometimes. Sometimes the storm clouds feel like it's too much. The truth about an ego death that no one tells you is that it is the most painful experience of your life. And sometimes no amount of positivity, no amount of love and light and law of attraction and this stuff can help you. The only way out is through. Like the 9 Inch Nails song says, the only way out is through. The only way out is to go through it and to be in it and to not try to fight it, to not try to pacify it and to feel better, just to feel it and not to resist it, because that makes your ego death last even longer. The purpose of the ego death is to get you to the next level of your spiritual awakening journey. It's to get you to that next stage of consciousness. And your ego death is super significant. It's talked about in, vision quests in Native American culture. Many cultures have talked about in different terms for ego death. And how fun does it sound like to have to kill yourself, kill your psyche? And that's what it can do. And it can feel like it's tearing you apart. Your world is falling apart. Nothing makes sense anymore. You may have lost a job. Right now, I feel that the planet Earth is going through her own ego death, especially here in the United States. Purging of fear, purging of the lower chakras, moving from the third density, which is linked to the solar plexus chakra, which is about willpower. And the negative aspect of that is shame and anger and greed. And moving into the heart chakra, which is about finding your center of consciousness. That's where the center of consciousness is. And moving from that, we have to go through the growth and the painful lessons. Purging of the old systems, purging of the inequalities, purging of the fact that not everybody has been treated equally for a long time. Not that it's been flipped on its head. But we had to do that, and we had to flip it inside out. We had to be born into this earth here to help get to New Earth so that we can help her from the inside out. That's the only way to do that. The only way out is in. So nothing and no one can save you from your own ego death. And we have a choice. We can actually go through an ego death every single day. Every single night when we go to bed, yes, we manifest and we connect to other aspects of us, but this physical vessel is sleeping. This physical vessel ceases to exist. This personality, this belief system can change. This belief system is fluid. You have a choice of what you want to believe, but you do have to go through the process of dying to the past. You do have to go through that process, and I can tell you it is challenging, it is painful, and you're going to want to quit. You may not have the strength, and some people don't, and that is the truth. The truth is that ego death isn't for everyone, and not everyone survives. And but if you can make it out of that, if you can find some way to carry on, my wayward son, push on, you'll see some transformative growth. You'll see that it'll lead you to the greatest treasure in yourself. The greatest wheelhouse, the greatest lighthouse of source energy is within you, but you have to go through your own darkness in order to get there. So I hope this made sense. Again, the ego death is the death of the psyche, the death of the old ways, the death of the beliefs and intentions that this physical avatar that you've created holds. And in order to do that, you need to let go. You need to let go and raise up your vibration, and it's not always pleasant. So I hope this video helps. Smash that thumbs up button. Comment down below. Let me know if you've gone through your own ego death. And like I said, sometimes empty words don't help, but sometimes knowing that others are going through a similar situation might help a little bit. So I hope you have a beautiful day. We're transforming now. Peace and unity.